Hi there. Today I want to talk about how to record in your van, your car at night. So I'm sitting in my van right now. There's no light whatsoever. I didn't turn the engine on and I'm talking to you. It looks like I have light in the car, but I don't. Now I'm sitting in the parking lot where there's lights coming in and the store's light. It's also shining in as the big store over there. You can see it coming in a little bit, but other than that, there's no light. So you're wondering, how did I get such a good image, low noise, and yeah, how do I do that? I must have an amazing A7S III, right, camera? Nope. Let's talk about it. Alright, so you look at this camera and you go, how can you be sitting in the van with no light other than the light coming in and you still get a good quality image? Well, let me tell you right now, I'm actually filming on the Sony a6100. It's a very affordable camera. It's one of those sleeper that nobody really talk about. Amazing vlogging camera because it has a flip up screen and it's great for low light. Now, the autofocus is supposed to be pretty good, comparable to the 6400 and 6600. But the problem with it is that, and I think this is just Sony camera in general as well. Maybe the A7S III is better, but in low light such scenario, the autofocus doesn't work as well. It seems to keep searching for the face. So what I am doing is, if you're going to do this in your van, because you're sitting anyway, have it set to manual focus. Okay, that's very important. So set to manual focus, have the focus peaking on so you know how to focus on your eye. So you should have, I use the red contrast so I can see that I'm in focus. I would advise you to do, just have it set to manual focus. Have focus peaking on the red contrast so you can see. And then the next thing is invest in a good lens. I have a pretty good and affordable lens, the 28mm f2. So it's now wide open at f2. The camera is sitting on a cheap tripod in the front passenger seat. Okay, so that's what it's doing right now. The camera setting I have right now is 12,800 ISO. So I think that's the maximum you want to do for the APS-C camera like Sony a6100. I'm going to show you the comparison between this camera and the standard A5000 that I have, and you can see the difference. So if you were to film on a standard camera like the A5000 at 1600 ISO, I'll show you right now. You can see, okay, 1600. The shutter speed is 1/50th. Using a kit lens at 18 mils, because it's 18 to 55, and then it's wide open at f3.5. That's the widest you can go. And you can see I'm really in the dark, right? So now come back to this image. You can see what a big difference. You can see that big difference. The reason, of course, is the ISO is 12,800. And the lens is wide open using the 28mm f2, so at f2. And in addition, I set the shutter speed at 1/30th, not 1/50th. So when you're doing a talking head like this, 1/30th is more than adequate. So you have a slow shutter speed, 1/30th. You have wide aperture at f2, and then you have the ISO at 12,800. It's amazing. You see this? Now I'm going to try to grade this post to see what it looks like, but the image is very clean. Now you're probably wondering about the audio. How to get the audio to sound so good? So here's the trick. I didn't use the mic input from this Sony a6100. What I end up doing is that I turn on the speaker of my van and I hook up my Zoom H1N and then connect it using the wire, the 3.5 mil wire connected to the van speaker, and adjust it accordingly because you don't want to have the echoing sound. And then what you end up getting is a pretty good quality sound coming from the speaker, and is recording on the Sony 6100. So it's quite amazing. So that's how I did it. Okay, so manual focus, shutter speed 1/30th, f2 for the aperture of the 28mm lens, 12,800 ISO. Set up your sound connect it to your car speaker, adjust it accordingly, manual focus, and there you have it. Now, by the way, the A6100 doesn't have a log profile. It has a standard profile, and that's what I use, just standard profile, and bring down the contrast and bring other thing down as well. I think it was contrast and highlights. I can't remember it, but it was -2, -0 or something like that. But anyway, I just make sure that I can adjust a little bit in post. But there we have it. A cheap, affordable camera, but it does a job. And probably better than the A7S III if you didn't know what you're doing. Alright, so it's not the camera, it's the user. Okay, make sure you know how to set up properly. Given different settings, you should be able to adjust your camera accordingly. You got to know where all the lights are, the natural lights or the artificial lights. Got to know where they are. Find the location, set up your camera properly, and you'll be able to film on any occasion. That's the key. It's not actually the camera itself. I mean, the camera will help, but you got to work with what you have and spend more money on the most important thing, which is if you can hire, the proper actors, hire a popular location. If it's free, it's even better, but most likely you have to pay something, right? So actors, location, and work on your script. I think you're going to have amazing film, or if you're doing short film. All right, talk to you later.